A short while back, Joe Dispenza revealed a profound supernatural encounter. Joe consciously experienced three of himself simultaneously, seeming to transcend time to do so. Furthermore, he reports encountering a mysterious entity who seemed to be the catalyst for this mind-blowing event, which leads me to wonder, could Joe Dispenza be in contact with an intelligence some of us call the phenomenon? Is Dr. Joe a contactee? To be clear, he's never claimed to be such a thing, but this amazing encounter suggests contact with a mysterious intelligence. So what happened? To explain, we have to follow three versions of Joe at different time intervals, numbered Joe 1, Joe 2, and Joe 3. Joe 1 was meditating in his lounge after a busy day, undertaking a pineal gland meditation. Some way into this, he experienced a vision of his own pineal gland. To quote, "As I rested my attention in the space the pineal gland occupies in my brain, and as I was drifting off into the blackness, suddenly out of nowhere, a vivid image of my pineal gland appeared in my mind, expanded in 3D form. He surrendered to this experience, and then the vision changed. Joe found himself looking at a huge timepiece. As soon as he saw this, he received from somewhere a vivid realization. In this infinite amount of time, there exists infinite spaces, dimensions, or possible dimensions of reality to experience. The vision seemed to be showing him that the pineal gland had the ability to tune into information beyond the physical senses and to connect us with other realities that already exist as potentials within the eternal moment. The hands on the large stopwatch started moving backwards in time, and as they did, Joe saw himself when he was 7 years old, lying in his childhood bedroom. All the memories of this time of his life started flooding Joe's awareness, and then things got weird. The hands on the timepiece moved forward, and instantaneously he was standing barefoot in his backyard in the cold night air, and he realized intuitively that he was experiencing a future version of himself. To quote, "The future personality called Joe Dispenza had changed immensely. I was so much more evolved, and I felt amazing." Joe describes feeling superconscious as every aspect of his awareness became acutely heightened. Everything he saw, touched, felt, tasted, and heard amplified in an incredibly pure form of joy. And then, suddenly, I saw a tiny woman in a glowing white garment. She was no more than 2 feet tall and was standing right behind the fountain with another woman of normal size who was dressed similarly and was also radiant and full of light. The other woman stood in the background observing, seemingly acting as the tiny woman's protector. When I looked at the tiny woman, she turned to me and gazed into my eyes. I felt an even stronger energy of love, as if she was sending it to me. Joe realized he had never felt anything like this before. His sense of wholeness and love amplified exponentially. I thought to myself, wow, is there even more love than the love I was just experiencing moments ago? Joe somehow knew that this tiny woman was sending him a positive response to this question and was suddenly inspired to look towards the kitchen window of his house and saw his past self. This was Joe before he had sat down to meditate that same night. In this heightened state, Joe saw his previous self now in a new way, understanding himself in a deeper way than he ever had before. And when this happened, Joe experienced himself connected across time. 3 versions of himself all at once. The Joe sat deep in meditation, the Joe washing dishes staring out the window, and the highly evolved Joe of the future, outside on the cold grass, in the presence of a tiny 2-foot female being. 3 realities at once converged within one expanded consciousness. To quote, "The paradox is that they were all me, living at the same time." This incredible event forever changed the way Joe saw his reality. His understanding of time, space, and consciousness forever altered. To my knowledge, he has not publicly speculated about who the tiny woman was, who the mysterious woman behind her may have been, nor from what future this highly evolved future version of himself may have come from. So who were these strange, highly evolved beings? Joe's experience shares similarities with those of others who've experienced the phenomenon of contact, meaning contact with seeming non-human intelligence. Often reported in such encounters are tiny people, tall, sometimes pale-looking women, glowing beings, telepathy, downloads, high strangeness, and a forever altered consciousness. Joe's experience contains nearly all of these things. One famous contactee, Chris Bledsoe Sr., has shared reports of his extraordinary experiences with non-human intelligences, including some with a highly evolved, loving entity that he simply calls the Lady, who has imparted spiritual knowledge to him over a number of years. Could there be a connection? Another contactee, Airman Charles Hall, reported numerous encounters with both short and tall, pale female beings, the taller of which he refers to as the Teacher, who teaches the younger beings of her race and who represents an off-world civilization that he says has helped humanity in a number of ways. In his book Becoming Supernatural, Joe suggests that it may be possible to communicate with the creative intelligence of reality itself through meditation and heightened emotional states such as love, joy, and excitement. Joe's body of work features many incredible accounts, one of which is how he healed his spine, which had been broken in multiple places, in less than 3 months, this after being told he'd never walk freely again. To learn about that healing process, watch this video. All likes and comments help my channel grow and are greatly appreciated, and if you like mind-body healing, be sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching.